Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror PSA presented by Scary Nerd, and as always, we are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm Saul.
And I'm Angie.
The following is a public service announcement.
A live television broadcast in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms. That's right, we watched the 2024 film Late Night with the Devil, starring, I'm going to maybe mispronounce this, but David Dastmalchian. I think that's right.
I wrote DD for everybody.
DD.
He's been in so many things.
He's been in a million things. If you look him up, you'll be like, oh, that guy from that one
guy.
movie.
He's been in Ant-Man,
he was in Doom.
Batman.
Yeah, he's been in everything.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff.
First thoughts. Let's just go right into it, huh?
Angie?
I did not like this.
Like at all, or parts, or
I'll get into a further
Okay.
explanation later,
First initial
so
thoughts.
I didn't enjoy it.
Your
No.
rating out of a 10. How about that?
A solid 3.
Okay.
Ow. Okay.
Wow. Probably one of the worst ones you've seen.
No,
with
come
the way
on.
we've done this.
I was randomly thinking about
The ones we've done.
Don't even bring
Mother. I was
Mother.
randomly thinking about Mother today.
I saw something about it when I was scrolling
Really?
the other day, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I was randomly like, yeah.
Paul, what'd you
it
think?
stinks. It's good. It's not great, and I think I'd give it a 6 or 7 out of 10. But I think one of the things is like you have to just. I think if you know what you're going into, like anytime that I do a movie review or anything, I'm like, I don't ever want to say a movie is bad unless it's like horribly bad.
Mother.
If it's one of those movies, but there are people that like Mother, and I'm like, if you liked Mother, then
It
you
had
would
production
like
value.
these things, like you would have this, or yeah, I mean, there's certain aspects or whatever, but like this movie, I think if you know what you're going into,
I might enjoy it a little more.
then people enjoy it. I think it was overhyped. I think that might dismay some people from being like, this is it. Like it definitely got overhyped for me. I think a lot of the thing is there's nothing in this movie that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
There's nothing the way they set it up, but they really prove that you don't need a big budget to pull off a decent horror movie. Because
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. Either horror movies are really cheap and shitty or way overblown production value, and like there's kind of no in between right now.
I'm in the middle. I kind of agree with a lot of what you said. The reason I recommended this movie is because I kept seeing all the hype for it. Like everything I kept seeing, like one of the things I read a lot is I go through the horror subreddit on Reddit, and there was a lot of people posting on it saying that I just kept seeing it up, people saying, oh, I saw this and I thought it was great. I didn't read too much into it because I didn't want to spoil it, so I'm like, all right, let's throw this out there, watch it, and I kind of hyped this up to be more than what it was, but it kind of like, to me, it kind of fell flat. Like,
Yeah, I definitely feel like if you hype this movie up, it's gonna fall flat for you.
So out of
in
a
the
10,
end.
what do you think?
probably about a 6.5.
Yeah, see, that's far too high.
See, I think 3 to me is like if it was just shitty, if it was filmed shitty, like it was done well, it was shot well.
It gets an A for effort for me.
I mean,
Incorrect.
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 On being shot well.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll get
You
into it.
want to
I
know
guess.
my largest problem with
Go
the
ahead.
shot
Okay, go.
and the look of this?
Oh, well, can I? Do you mean by the look and feel of the movie, or like a specific? Because
No, I'm talking the look, the feel, and the shots, the lighting, all of it, the whole production, all of it.
Go.
okay.
It is a 1970s soap opera, and I can't see it any other way.
Okay.
But that's the era they're doing though.
Yeah, that's what they were
But-
going for.
But they did it too much to where it completely ruined any kind of horror aspect for me. I was like, this is nothing. Like, this is a dramatic, sad thing. Like, this is not supposed to be, like, it was hokey. And it made it to, what are those variety shows? That's what it was. It was
Seemed
a
like a variety
variety
show,
show. Yeah, and I couldn't see it any other way.
Okay, but that was late night 70s TV.
No, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
And his rival was Carson. So, I
But
mean, that's what
even
they were
if-
specifically doing.
No, and oh my God, the pissing dick measuring match he had with Carson, Jesus Christ. But either way, no, and even if they would have at the end taken those like out of like change the lighting. Like we weren't supposed to, like this was supposed to be like him seeing his wife. Why did it still look like the terrible lighting and the variety show? That's like they didn't
in his
do
like descent to madness.
yeah,
thing
like
or
they
whatever.
did no change. They did nothing to take us there. They did nothing to make it seem like, oh, set change. We're in a deeper, darker part of his mind or anything like that, or anything bad's gonna happen. I'm like, and now we see all the terrible cancer dead makeup that they did on that woman, and I'm just like, this is awful. Like it's so bad. So that is my reasoning for the 3. I did not enjoy it, and like you said, the story didn't even really save it because it was nothing that I hadn't seen before.
It's not, and I think it was well executed in the way that they were going for all of that, in my opinion, that you're saying. And I get that there are some things I'm like, I did get. When you look back and watch it more than once, and you're kind of like, I do get that soap opera-y kind of like, this is just it's a teledrama. Like this whole thing, with the additional unseen footage and like all that.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sorry, there's no way you could ever pull off like found footage that has like additional behind the scenes stuff. Because every time I'm like, okay, who's filming this then?
Right?
Who's
Like,
filming
who's
this behind the
following
scene
them
thing where he's
along?
like, don't tell anyone, but
Yeah.
Christo's dead. This is God, we have mutiny on this in the crew, and like, who, like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop filming us. We can't.
Right?
Like,
Who
no one would,
are you?
No one would be like, film this thing that we don't want everyone in the production crew to know right now.
Yeah.
That the fucking guy just died on the way
You
to the
don't
hospital.
even work here. Who are
Yeah,
you?
like, you fucking intern, get out of here. Like, so I mean, there's never like a good way to introduce found footage because like. When everyone dies, like, then who found the footage? Like, how am I watching this as an audience member if the last person died? Like, the cameraman dies.
And again, am I supposed to believe that the whole audience that was watching was in in the guy's psyche, seeing his wife? Like, that was just all televised? Is that what we're supposed to believe?
You mean the ending?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Let's
get
talk
to
about
the
the
ending.
ending.
Let's get to the ending
yes.
when we get to the end. I don't want to
All
skip
right,
ahead.
Fine. All right, fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so apparently this guy is in a secret super
Grove.
club where they
Grove.
go
Known
to the
as
woods
Meadows.
and they kiss and they just love each other all the time, and then they make secret pacts with the devil, and it's really cute. They probably make like friendship bracelets or something there.
They could.
I always thought
Arts and
like
crafts.
just reading
Summer
them, like,
camp.
is there like you
Yeah.
pick on the new kid even though he's like 52 and he's just like, it's your first day at camp, you loser. Like,
Right?
you guys
Like-
we're at camp, bro.
Like they dress up like owls. I mean, it's like a super cute
Capture
little
the
club.
flag.
It really is. I mean, if it wasn't for the I have to like,
I'm a Supreme Court
sacrifice.
justice, guys.
I don't want to have to sacrifice my loved ones.
You're a newbie fed boy. What? I'm
I'm
diabetic.
somebody important here. I'll have to take this from you.
That is a play on like a real Grove thing that president. It's like one of those adult skulls clubs. I think one of those fucking things they mentioned.
that
Every-
only
Every
white
time-
people were allowed to join.
Yeah.
Every time I see any of those like secret societies, I think of the Simpsons and the Stonecutters.
Yeah. You can't get around it.
Nope.
It's etched in my brain.
Yep.
I just like I could never be a part of one of those clubs because I'd like I don't want to be in your cult. No, thank you. Like-
So the mythology I'm reading in the IMDb trivia is that if you make a deal with the devil for earthly goods, he comes back to take something 7 years later, which he made the deal in '69 and his wife died.
Like something good happens to you, but something
1976
bad
or
has to
whatever.
happen.
Yeah, so that was his. Obviously, I mean, that's if you watch the movie, you get that. That's what everything alludes to. That, and that's what he. I don't know if he agreed to that in the beginning, but you have to pay something later, I guess, and he didn't know that was what it was going to be. I think it was his story.
Your
anyway.
bill is due.
He's such a liar. Like I mean, it's the one thing he had that everybody wanted. Like you had to know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Were they married then? I don't know. I don't know his.
It seems like they were.
His
I
little
think they
timeline
were.
thing, the
Because it
beginning
seems-
of the shock-you or the mockumentary.
Because
whatever
it
they
seemed
call
like as soon as he made that deal, everything good started going for him because he goes
That's
from
usually
being,
how it works when you
Yeah.
make the deal. So.
I was also annoyed by the intro documentary thing.
wait.
I was like, this is too Texas Chainsaw for me.
Why? Okay. The one thing I do have to say about the intro, that is the right way to use stock footage.
70s
right?
footage.
Like
yeah.
mix it in and because I mean everyone's seen stock footage. Like there was some stills in there that you've seen in every movie that mentions the fucking 70s, right? Like there's
Yep.
actual stock footage in there that we've seen 100 times, but the way that they actually did it in this movie, I'm like, this is the way you're supposed to use stock footage to make it seem like it's not stock footage, but it is. But it takes you out, and it was good. I like that. What kind of threw me off in the beginning of the movie, before the fucking movie started, was the 50 production companies that each had their 5-second little intro thing. I'm like, was this every company that paid $4 to fund this movie?
It took me back to the Family Guy joke where they were sitting in the movie and they had the intros to every single one of the studios, and they're thinking, oh, the movie's about to start. And no, it's like, oh, it's another studio. And that's what it had. It had like 3 of those where it's like, okay, what the hell is all this
half
shit?
Expected like a still shot at the end where it's like, and special thank you to like the Davis family, like just like the Indiegogo people that were like, if you donate this much, we'll put your name somewhere, like.
Supposed to put that at the end, not the beginning.
I do say the Good Fiend one, which is the little claymation one where the boy puts on like the They Live goggles and he gets to see the dead people. I'm like, that. All right, that's cute. I did enjoy that one, but the other ones, just. You get one title card, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. I did think Dee Dee did a great job at being the 1970s host.
Yeah.
Like, he was good at the whole...
So, I read in the trivia that the two brothers, the Karn brothers, I believe if I'm pronouncing that right, they wrote and directed this movie together. When they were looking to cast someone, they just happened upon an article that Dee Dee wrote for Fangoria about regional horror hosts from like the 70s and 80s, like have like Svengoolie and guys like that would have like regional horror shows, and they were like, oh my god, like this just kind of feels like the right guy, so they approached him to do it, and I guess it worked. I mean, I think he did a good job.
Yeah, he did a good job.
I mean, he was
the movie did
everything
have its
was
flaws.
that quintessential like just hammy jokes and just the shtick, the different little silly comedy bits, like the whole thing, like straight out of the 70s. So I mean, they did well in that, and that's why I say like they did well in their execution.
Yeah, and
I do agree with you. Like you said, some points probably went a little too overboard and made it more soap opera-y than it needed to be. But you know what? I didn't grow up in the 70s, but I'm willing to bet like there was a fine line between late night shtick and soap operas in the daytime.
The guy who was like his on-air
Gus.
Is that Gus?
His sidekick.
His sidekick, yeah. I was like, sometimes he took me so far out of it too. I was like, well, Gus, what is your like? Pick a thing. Like either be the like playful dude or be the worrywart. Like. I wanted him to go either one way. And I know like he was playing a character sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, this is like, I don't know. I didn't believe him in the hypnotized scene.
Really? Why?
It was a little hokey.
A little too cheesy.
Yeah, that was my hokey.
Yes, but
part.
then that was supposed to be because he was hypnotized.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I grew up in the 90s and the psychic bit where they're like, who knows somebody named Sam? And
I know. I wrote down like why do the ghosts only communicate in like one letter at a time? Like I'm seeing a P.
And then Peter.
What was the name of that one dude who got really famous that South Park made fun of?
Oh, what was it? Something Edwards, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, but John Edwards. Yes.
There it is.
Because the thing that because knowing what we know now, and a lot of the TV that I see, especially with South Park, they made fun of a bunch of these people, and they exposed his little shtick to everybody, and that's all I kept thinking of. Okay.
I love how when Millie, is it Millie or Minnie? Minnie, because it was Lily. I'm mixing them. When Minnie tried to get into Christu, I love how his accent just disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, someone's in here now. Like, oh, okay. Better yet, see? No?
I love that he just
Edward?
puking on
Edmund.
bitches,
Edmund,
too.
yes.
The camp that Andrew was talking about is when he said, the first guy, when he talks to him, was like, oh, is your wife there? He's like, I don't know. I hope so. She ran off with my best friend like 5 years
Barry.
ago.
I loved Barry. I'm like, somebody give Barry his own late night talk show. He's like, well, it's been for 42 years.
Yeah,
Barry's got the jokes.
Mm-hmm.
He had the little bit of the shtick that since Andrew was
it's
a little over the top-ish, but
yeah,
it is what it is probably back then.
The first time we watched this, I thought, I didn't know what to expect. I knew, going into it, I didn't read much about it. The very first time I watched, I knew, they were going to do some sort of exorcism or that, seance or something, right? Like, that's what's coming in the movie without knowing too much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they kind of said some things and alluded to some things, and then I was like, I thought the person in the skeleton costume.
I thought he was
going
gonna
to
be
be
more than he
something
was.
else.
Yeah.
Like, I thought there's going to be something with that. Like, that kind of threw me off. So I'm like, they probably
Oh,
were
if
just
there
fucking
was
with you a bit,
one thing that this movie had a shit ton of, it was plot lines. So I
Yeah.
mean, it could have been a lost one that just.
I was expecting him to be more something than what he was because they emphasized him a little bit too much, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
and they just abandoned it.
And then they had the sassy gay man Carmichael. That dude was totally gay, right? Like that was a.
He wanted in on the
dick sucking. He did.
No,
he was like,
invite me to the orgies.
Yes,
Yes.
he
I
was
want the orgies.
But he was sassy
I
as
want
hell.
the Grove orgy. You
That-
know it's all dudes. Oh, okay.
Yes, I know.
I
That's
don't
why
do
I went
that,
in there.
but sure.
He was just-
was it Carmichael Haig?
Yeah, he was just like, "You're not real, Christo," until Christo pukes black all over him.
Just how, yeah, that was. I agree though with Paulo when he had his little headache. Like, what the hell happened to the accent?
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody's picking up that his accent went away.
My accent disappears.
And I'm like, whoa, with the. Like, he wasn't mic'd up or anything, but we heard all of those stomach sounds. So I'm like, those had to have been loud.
There's overhead mics. There's overhead mics.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, that a boom
is front
mic
of a-
picked that up?
Boom mics pick up a lot. You
He's
can pick
getting
up
gay, so
people
the bubble
crowd.
guts.
Yes. I was like, open that door and let Christy out, man. He's gonna shit everywhere.
Mhm.
His
He
bubble
really
guts,
was.
his
That
bubble guts
is-
are talking. I've heard those noises before,
He's,
and he needs to run to the bathroom like now.
Like, yeah, you need a clear path.
Mm-hmm. And then the doctor and
For
Lily
my
come
next
out,
trick.
right?
I will make this toilet paper disappear.
Lily is totally a weird little white girl.
I was like, Lily's gunning for your show, bro. She came out with straight up to camera one, like, I'm smiling.
Yeah,
Where do I look?
Just- Which camera do I look now?
that was a little creepy too, a little bit because
I'm
she just had
stealing your
those,
show,
she had those
dipshit.
big bright eyes and just staring at
Yeah.
the camera.
They picked a weird, creepy kid for that. It was good.
Did a
It was
good
good.
job.
It was good casting.
Yeah,
good
good
makeup.
job.
Good all around. So
Then we
they,
get her burnt house backstory.
yes, the other a little bit of our documentary piece where we get to what was it?
The
I
other
like
cult,
to call this the Jerry
Diabo.
the Jerry side, where like you get those like little like I do what I want videos. You remember
Jerry
like
Springer ones.
be off to the side,
expose
right?
ones.
Before they'd
Yeah.
introduce
The bad
them into
kids.
the
Yes,
show.
there you go.
Yeah.
Whatever, I do what I want.
Yeah, it was those little things. Yeah.
So we sent little Tyrell to boot camp.
And then they come out, and then you're like, "Hi, Lily. We just seen that you were traumatic. You were
The
dramatically."
thing that I remember the most about those is when they did the kids that were bad and they come out and they boo. I'm like, what are you booing at? Who are you booing at? Like, boo all you want.
I love when they try to fight him. I'm like, you want to fight? You're gonna scrap
you were
the
a
whole
child.
audience.
Even
right
okay,
now.
as a teen watching those, I was like, "Go ahead. Are you gonna fucking hit
Do
me?
it.
You're an adult.
Right.
Go ahead and fucking hit me on national TV right now. I
Like this-
fucking dare you.
Like, this kid
You
is
can
12.
stand in front of me all you want, but that's not gonna do anything because you can't touch me, bitch."
Like, this kid is 12.
But then they did send him to the camps, and we've seen now that they did touch them and
They
molest them a
did.
lot. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good documentaries on
Way to
Netflix
go,
about
parents.
that. If you want to check those out.
There was just another way for parents of that era to like just pawn it off on somebody.
I don't know what to do. Let's send them to the camp.
The school didn't take care of it. The police don't want to deal with it. Just send him to the boot camp.
There you go.
He keeps having feelings. I don't know what else to do.
He's angry that his life is shit. Send him to the boot camp. Thanks, parents of the 90s.
But didn't they say in that little Lily video that like kids were bred to be sacrificed or to
Yeah,
something along those lines?
yeah.
See, that's why I kind of wondered on what her deal was. If she was bred to be sacrificed, or if she was like a special one that was the vessel for this demon or whatever the fuck it was. Right?
Could have been that.
Yeah.
It could have been that she was.
I'm
once
sorry,
she
an
got to an age.
Abraxas.
Abraxas.
That sounds like a fucking drug. Like
It
that sounds
does.
like isn't there a
Ask
thing
your
like,
doctor if Abraxas is
isn't
right
it
for you.
Celebrex or Abraxas? Like there's something that's fucking like similar to that. Like ask your doctor if Abraxas is right for you. Like what is it? You'll be
May cause a
bald.
splitting headache.
You'll be bald. Your head will explode and your dick will fall off, but you won't have eczema anymore.
Yes.
What? Abraxas.
And I loved how she gave her demon a nickname. It was like Mr.
Mr. Wriggles.
Mr.
Mr.
Howdy.
Wriggles.
This is a nod to Mr. Howdy from The Exorcist.
Yes.
Mr. Wriggles, because he wriggles inside her
He
head,
wriggles.
and then he
Like-
wriggles back out.
No, that was the cult leader that would molest you at night.
I love that. It's like
What was
Lily,
his name?
like,
Diabo.
even the doctor, Dr. June, she's like, Lily's not stable. We should not do that. I'm like, then why did your bitch ass even come to the station?
Yes.
Like, if you would have landed and be like, no, we're just going to go to a hotel. She can't do it. Like, we're out. Like, that's what you do, doctor.
The demon didn't get through customs. I don't know.
Right?
Like, they
We
don't
couldn't
believe.
check 2 personalities. They wouldn't allow it, so.
Her face changed and it didn't look like her passport anymore, so.
Wouldn't that be
they're
some
not,
shit?
They're not letting us in. Like,
I
it just,
couldn't get through.
are you trying to smuggle this 45-year-old Croatian woman for the Olympic team?
No.
Like, gymnastics teams?
It's like there's 2
no.
people traveling, but 1 vessel.
If you give me 10 minutes, let me wave this medallion in her face. Like, okay, that's it, lady. Just get in this room here. What are we gonna do?
She didn't pass the screening.
When Christy's dead, I love that they're all like, don't tell anybody. Don't tell it. I'm like, how do you think you guys found that out? Do you think that the one guy in the glasses got the call?
The first person that comes in is like, holy shit, thank you for calling. Oh my God, Christian's dead.
Yes, like there's no way that like they took the phone call, right?
Yeah.
That guy did not take the phone call. So whoever took the phone call already told 4 people before they came to tell.
And
that
who would
guy.
they even call? Like, who would they even call?
I
Like,
don't know. The
like
station?
Who called? Like the guy in the ambulance, like, hey,
And from where when they got to
I
the
don't-
hospital?
yeah, in the 70s, like a
Well, it sounded
payphone.
like
Well, the guy's dead. Just stop over at the payphone, Larry. We should let these people know something at least. Just
I mean, just call
Because he
him.
died on his way to the hospital in the ambulance.
yeah, you guys are gonna have to come pick up your dead guy.
Like,
your
we don't know who to
magician
bill.
Guy. We don't. We got a busy night. It's New York in the 70s. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, like, we don't know who to bill. We don't know who needs to claim the body.
Here's my other question. Didn't they say this was a midnight show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who the fuck? And this is not even Halloween then, because once the show starts, it's November 1st.
Yeah.
Or is it the
No.
30th?
Because here's the thing.
Said it's the
Because
31st.
here is the thing in the trivia for IMDb.
Oh, okay.
That the brothers specifically were like, we want it to be. It has to be a Monday night in the fall for Sweeps Weeks in October. And they're like, oh my God, Monday, October 31st, 1977. That's perfect. We'll use that date as Monday because it's Halloween, beginning of Sweeps Weeks. So if they're a midnight show on a Monday night, then it's actually November 1st.
Yeah.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't know how these things work in late night TV.
I don't wanna think
but
about
no one does them live, do they? I mean, that's not. I know how they do them now. I don't think they just.
Who's going to be up that late, too, especially in New York?
On a Monday night, I'm like, yeah, Halloween's over.
Right.
I don't go like some Jack Delroy in the middle of the fucking night before I gotta go to work tomorrow.
He's always talking about how he's second to Carson. That's all.
Let's go with number 2 tonight.
When June gets to the show, why is Carmichael being such a dick to her? Like, aren't they kind of on the same team? Because wasn't he showing, like, we're scientific now. Like, we go about it and, like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I'm a doctor. And, like,
Well, yeah,
I
but
do
right off the
this.
bat, he's just being a dick to her. Just like, you're Hogwash University.
I
your
know, I'm
degrees.
like,
I mean, yeah, she gets defensive right off the bat.
Well,
but,
no,
like,
I'm like, aren't they kind of the same thing? Like, why is he being a dick?
Well, no, because he doesn't believe in communicating with the dead or demonic possession or any of that shit. So I think, no matter what,
He was
I mean, even though she was like, I'm doing this from a scientific approach, like we've studied. But then again, at the same time, she's like, I've studied parapsychology and the devil and the cult shit. I'm like, and you're mixing them and you think that's
not good.
going to be okay?
Hey,
You think that's going to
according
end
to all
up?
these movies, it's fine.
Yeah.
And how do
It's
all these
fine.
movies end?
But then again, he was wasn't he like the other guy, Shusto, but he was a refined con man or whatever you want to call him?
He was a magician that
There
turned
you go.
into a debunker. It said.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, which he was based on a real guy that, well, I forget what his name was. I wrote it down somewhere, but he was a real guy that like offered like money, like, you can do this, I'll give you money. Like and I want to say that he'd been in a couple shows where I think I've seen the clips. Like if you've seen any of that shit like on the internet, you've seen probably one of the clips. I think his name was James Randi is what it said. That's the character that Carmichael Haig is pretty much based on. He was like magician turned psychic debunker is what I think they called him.
And was it him or was it the other guy who threw a shout out to the whatchamacallit, the
Ed and Lorraine.
Ed and Lorraine?
It was him.
It was,
Yeah, he mentioned because it was showing they had
Amityville,
had
yeah.
that horrible still shot of him standing in front of the Amityville house. And it's like this is clearly like terrible Photoshop. So,
Yeah,
like,
it was not.
and I wrote down, did Christy just have a bad lunch in Chinatown when he started having his
I don't know.
throwing
That shit
out
was
bubble
black.
guts,
I mean, maybe
like,
he
yeah.
ate squid he wasn't
There we
supposed to
go.
eat.
He ate bad
puffer
sushi.
fish. That's what it was. You don't cut that right, you die.
He was like, I can communicate with the dead. I know this fish is safe. No, you don't.
Xander Diabo. That's what
I talked to this dead fish. He said he was fine.
I love how June gets peer pressured into showing off Lily's demon.
I love it. Like people are like, come on. There's two people at the end. Like one guy goes like, it's quiet as fuck, and also the one guy's like, come on, June. Like, show us, June. Like, you know what? That lady and that guy are the reason I'm doing it. None of you were convincing enough, but that guy. Thank you for standing up.
It took him for me to do
I
this.
was waiting for him to say it.
Yes.
Now I'll do it.
And like, I don't know, the whole setup, I was just like, am I supposed to care about any of these people? Like, because June's just dumb. June, like I said, she gets peer pressured.
She tries to walk away 4 or 5 different fucking times, but never actually
has
does.
the backbone. Yeah, so I'm just like, bitch, it's your party trick.
There were 3
stop.
commercial breaks you could have left. Like,
Plenty opportunity to leave.
Ladies
Same
and
thing with
gentlemen.
the crew. The whole time, the crew's gonna jump ship. If them bitches, like, if any of them bitches were Catholic and they were like, we're gonna talk to the devil. Nope, fuck you. I'm out.
Well,
out. We don't do that. Like,
Didn't at one point they say that 3 of them already left?
but 3
I
out
think
of
it
the
was-
whole studio.
I think it was 3 like after the initial fucking
after they
seance or
talk
whatever.
to her. Yeah, after they do the whole
Like
party thing.
floating shit. I am out. I quit. I don't care, man.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Like,
I'm
out.
moving to Hollywood. Fuck this shit.
And see, I think up until that point, I was on board with what this movie was, right? I was like, okay, I'm good with what this movie is. Because, like we said, we didn't go in with any preconceived notions, so I didn't really know what to expect. But then when Haig does his own hypnosis thing is when I was out completely. It's like this just took a whole stupid turn.
I was like, this movie would have been better if that was real. Like, Haig's like, look, I'll show you. And then he's trying to hypnotize him, but then the fucking demon girl in the background is actually making all this shit happen. I'm like, that would have been a better ending for this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to talk to the devil. But not before. Word from our sponsors. Cavendish. I don't even know what we sell, but fuck. I guess
And
we're
can you
sponsoring the devil
imagine-
now.
Can you imagine
The backlash.
The 1970s, like the first word, we're gonna talk to the devil. Like there would have
Yeah.
been so many calls to
Fucking-
the station, they would have shut that shit down like right
Yeah.
away. There would have been no way.
That's-
Sweeps week or not.
Yeah. Okay, they wouldn't have cared, as Jack and
Yeah, no,
Leo
I'm
the
saying
producer.
the station, like
Oh, the state. Yeah, but the same. Their point is like, we get eyes, we get noticed. It makes us money, good, bad, or otherwise. If people are talking about us,
is
just
it the
fucking talking about
FCC
it.
that would have got called in? Because I think the devil or any of like demonic stuff would have banned.
I
at
don't
a certain
know.
Time.
I don't know. This was 77,
in
so maybe, who
television
knows?
history.
Because you got to think too. What year did Exorcist come out? Was that 77 or 78?
I don't remember.
I know it was late 70s, but yeah, like think about the fucking upheaval that movie caused, like just in theaters. They'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah, something on TV. No, they
Yeah.
would have gotten shut down.
Because again, I mean, I don't know who watches TV in the middle of the night. Like, I don't know.
Midnight.
I doubt that we got anything on the West Coast live like in 77, right?
No.
Like, it was
Right,
all
yeah.
tape delayed and shit like that anyway. So
Mhm.
like, I don't know who's watching this thing live in New York then. Halloween
I
night that turned into November 1st. So.
Do not know. I love that the demon had met Jack already. It's
Yeah.
like we
Hey,
met.
Jack.
We met
Remember?
at summer camp.
Your camp orgies. I was there. You were like, "Hey, give me something," and I was like, "Hey, I'll take something." And you're like, "Hey, okay, let's do this."
We made a deal.
You stuck your dick in that Supreme Court justice's ass because it was his first time.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
I'm a happily married man.
I know what you did.
No.
You traded her.
Like
in.
what happens at sleepaway camp does not
Sleep
stay
awake. It's the
at this
it's
camp.
the groove
It's the
The
groove.
groove.
I love when Dr. Jones,
known as the Pentaveret.
Yes.
when Haig is giving her shit, and she's like, "I also gave her love. I treated her, yes, but I also gave her love, and I also studied her." And I was like, Is that supposed to like help your case here?"
Do you hear it when you said it out loud? Like, I gave her love, but I
Listen,
studied.
listen.
No, that if you stop at the love part, we would be okay with you.
Right? Like this
Come
is
on,
Listen to what you
June.
just said.
it's
No.
creepy. You're
Yeah.
Peer
creepy.
pressure gets you every time, June.
Yes.
Apparently,
thinks you're very handsome,
even
Jack.
from Jack, because didn't Jack boner? Isn't that the
I
whole
think
like
I
thing?
think that's what they were alluding to. I
No,
mean,
they
I
weren't
assume
alluding,
they
they
were
said it.
together, right? Like,
The
I mean,
demon
the
said
girl, The girl kind of said it because she was like, she thinks you're very handsome, Jack. But it almost made it seem like they didn't know each other that well. But then other things when they were kind of together by themselves, I'm like, oh yeah, they're doing it. They're totally doing
And then the demon outs him.
Remember what happened to her last whore, Jack?
That demon didn't hold back.
See, and like that's the thing I love too. Like, what do you talk? What shit do you talk to about a demon? I could be like, well, you're stuck in an 11-year-old girl, so and you're tied to a chair. Have fun with puberty, bud.
Yeah, but then you forget though you're on national TV and that demon probably knows some shit about you. So I don't know if I'd get
We'll be right
too
back.
lippy. Yeah, exactly.
We'll be right back.
The demon did know shit. He knew where he had met him before at summer camp, and he knew that him and June were boning.
Met you in the grove.
Yes.
I really want to know what happens at the summer camp. I'm almost like the summer camp maybe would have been a better movie.
It's yeah, no. What I picture the summer camp is just grown men acting like. Okay, imagine any
They're all dressed
stupid.
as owls.
No, imagine. No, that's part of the thing too. I guess that the owl is part of their. That was their symbol or whatever.
Yeah.
So late night or night owls with Jack. Picture heavyweights, but with like adults. That's what I picture. Stupid adult summer camp to be like, where you're picking on the fat kid, but it's like a 50-year-old dude with a bunch of 60-year-old guys.
That sounds awful.
That sounds fucking hilarious as a movie, but I couldn't picture that as a horror movie. Is what I'm saying.
No, I don't think it sounds good as any kind of a movie.
Yeah,
but
let's
you do you.
let's remake Heavyweights with all the kids that were in the movie, but just as them today. That's hilarious.
It would
shot for shot remake.
It would be so sad. We would.
It would be.
Yeah,
We
because
would
the
hate
dude
it.
from Mighty Ducks is
It
still a
would be
mess.
hilarious though. No, he's cleaned up. I thought he
Well,
keeps
no.
going back and forth.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought he
Life
cleaned
is
up.
hard, kids. Life is hard.
Kill me, Jack.
Lily wants
Please.
to show the world that it wasn't a hypnosis
No.
like Haig's was. And she's so like, show him then. And I don't know if it's her acting or just the whole thing, and I'm just like, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I think Lily's like, I didn't know that $500,000, motherfucker. I'll show you right now.
I love what he did when that happened. Like once.
Like when she split her head open and he's like, I'll obey. It's the scene from The Mummy when he's like, oh no, like what's that religion?
Like when shit finally hit the fan and he's like, oh, here.
This was
If
my
I give you this
Here's
much,
your-
you'll leave me
Okay,
alone.
this took me out there. She's like, abracadabra. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that whole end scene, I hate
That
every second of it.
It was too cheesy for me at that point.
I was
Okay.
like, this is a really terrible VHS.
Segment that went too long.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm
Da,
like,
da, da.
it's not good, and it doesn't fit with any rest of this film, and then it turns off to another weird segment that doesn't fit anywhere else either.
Yeah, I was like, the one thing that I think that, okay, for people that like this movie, I think that they enjoy this movie because the ending is kind of open to where they're like, well, did it really happen or not?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think that goes back to my thing where I'm like, you creating your own ending is the best thing that's going to scare you, or the best thing that you're going to come up with, because you creating your own ending is the way that it's going to work for you.
Okay, but what are you saying? Did what happen or not?
The whole thing, because when he thinks that he's stabbing his wife, but he's actually stabbing Lily.
Yeah.
So, and then at the end, he's trying to say the words to break himself out of the hypnosis, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that may leave some people that enjoyed this movie with the impression of, was there actually the demon girl, or was he under hypnosis the whole time and now he woke up and it was actually he murdered people and whatnot?
See, that's how I took it.
So I
No.
think that people may leave this movie thinking it's kind of open-ended. I can make my own decision, or did this really happen? Did that not happen? So I think that really strikes a chord with some people.
You see the guy burned on the ground though, and you see the doctor.
I see that.
With her
Yeah, we
I
saw
see
that.
that. I
throat
see the
slit.
guy on the ground. I see her on the floor. I see Gus with his head fucking backwards.
Yes.
So I interpret it the way that the bitch's head flew open and the demon killed everybody.
And then Jack killed her in his trance. Yeah.
Yes. But I could see some people thinking it's kind of open-ended. Maybe Jack just killed everybody. Maybe
That's what I thought.
Maybe he fucking turned Gus's head around. And maybe he
That's
went
what
crazy.
I thought he was still under hypnosis, and he went apeshit and killed everybody. And
See,
then when he was
so I'm saying, like, there are people that can see. You could see either way, like, and you could make arguments for either ending.
Like Paul was saying, because you see him at the end of it, he had killed what he thought was his wife.
But I don't see how he could burn.
That's the only thing is I'm trying to figure out.
That's what I'm saying.
If he did go apeshit, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, how did he burn him? But still, like everything else, I could see him do. Like
I don't know. There was a lot of bourbon around.
And even if like Lily was supposed to die the whole time because she was supposed to just be a vessel and then be sacrificed anyway, so it was all the will of the demon anyway.
No, it wasn't the demon. It was Lily. She made Jack murder this chick on live TV, thinking he was actually killing his wife. And she's like, "Big fuck you to you, Jack. Now you're gonna spend the rest of your life in prison."
And that doesn't make any sense to me either. You have to kill me again because I'm in pain. Bitch, you're dead. Like, what? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
He was trying to free her soul from the demon and the
and
pentaferet.
Stabbing her? That doesn't make sense. That bitch
But he stabbed her
dead.
with the special Kandarian dagger that they found in Cesar Diabo's house. Cult leader.
Jack off hand gestures. So the audience.
Okay, which is worse, this or Mother?
Out of all the movies we've seen, Angie.
No, I'm saying just between this and Mother, which do you find worse?
I know there's a bunch of other ones she hated too.
I don't know. This one was really bad. I don't know if it's because everybody was like, "Oh, it's so great," so I expected at least a little bit of something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just there was not anything I really enjoyed in this. Like,
you know what movie we should do? Then?
I was bored. What? I was not entertained.
Have you seen Skinamarink?
No.
Oh God.
We need a palate cleanser after this.
Yeah, we're gonna need a palate.
It's definitely not Skinamarink then.
No.
That's a whole other thing. Where
but
you're
this
like,
one was
no,
similar.
okay, but yeah,
like,
but
I don't. There's
but you're saying
nothing.
I expected something. I'm like, okay, Skinamarink. I expected something.
Well, let's not get into it. If you wanted to do it, if you want to do that, let's not.
Okay, well, don't read anything about it.
I'm not gonna,
because I want you to go into it fresh. Then,
we might have to. We will have to do that one, but
definitely
not next week.
Okay,
no. We need to do something that cleanse the palate just a little bit.
Yeah, I
will say I half expected her when she gets staticky and like half of her static gets stuck to the lights and the other
I was like, is this shocker happening right now?
Yes, I was like, are we gonna have a shocker?
Are we gonna get I can't remember his fucking name now. The criminal's name.
I was like, shocker or gremlins?
I'm thinking Spider-Man.
Is she gonna get sucked into
Spider-Man?
the wall?
I'm thinking Spider-Man because she turned into Electro. She turned into Jamie Foxx Electro.
See, I never think of Jamie Foxx. If I'm thinking an electric thing, it's always Gremlins. The electric gremlin.
The electric gremlin.
And Gremlins too.
It's that first and then Shocker because we did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shocker. Yeah, this one, like I said, there wasn't anything overtly that any of the actors did. The story was not there for me, and production was not there for me. The lighting, everything was just, I did not enjoy.
Okay, I do have to say they filmed this in Australia, and I think they used some grants and whatnot. And I don't know what the production budget was for anything like that, but I know that everyone's saying like they filmed it for relatively cheap, and it's got a great return on it.
It's making a shitload of money.
It's a true cheap independent horror film.
Yeah.
And I think that excited a lot of people right off the bat because we don't really have those anymore.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's either crappy like sci-fi TV level fucking horror because we've seen some fucking horrible
horrible
things.
Ones, yeah.
We've gotten screeners for some horrible stuff. Like terrible.
I know.
So I think people are excited, like I said, right off the bat. It's cheap and it's well made. The production value is good. Like this doesn't look like, some 20-year-olds that just graduated film school made this with, credit card money. And
He's
it
has
looks
the
terrible.
vision.
They did film this in basically they built that like studio set to be a 360-degree filmable set. So everything in there, they basically built it to be filmed in there. And I think that's kind of another reason why when you're saying it didn't take you out of it, like you're still in the studio, because they had to kind of use the set to do everything
and
for
that's
that.
Fine, but
and his descent to madness, and I know they could have done more. They could have you put up a black cloth and cover a wall.
Yes.
I mean, you could have done some things, and I get that, but They did try to do this on the cheap. They did film it in the one place and, film everything in the place and, use the stock footage in the beginning and whatnot. So I really think execution-wise, it was really well made for being a cheaper movie in the horror genre. But as far as like story-wise, that's where I have issues with it.
Yeah.
I had also heard something. I don't know if this was in the trivia or not, but there was some AI like drama about this.
The trailer.
The thing that I saw was, I don't know if it was the trailer or it might have been the trailer, but I know the transition stuff when they use like the Cavendish group, like those. I've heard that those like little like commercial title card things, those little transitions. I think I heard those were AI. They use those to make, and I'm like,
I heard
that's an easy thing to do.
I didn't hear, but I read it was the trailer. The trailer had a lot of AI influence in there.
I think another thing that doesn't help this movie, and I don't know if you heard this or not, but I heard Stephen King's like, this is a great movie. Everyone should watch this.
I had heard that he had said something about it, but I didn't see what he had said. But Stephen King comes from a whole different era.
Yeah.
Of what we're in.
Maybe
now.
he had that nostalgia about like this feels like the 70s.
And then I could
That could
see
be
it.
it.
I could
Yeah,
definitely
I could
see
definitely
the
see-
nostalgia because I was like, I'm watching a 90s TV made for TV movie. Like that they
Yeah.
made on a soundstage with those same like
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
lights. Like that's what it was. And I was like it didn't give me nostalgia. It took me out of the horror element
Well, see,
of
I'm
it
like,
all.
maybe the people that liked it are also like the people that were like, I remember 70s late night TV. Like maybe that has a nostalgia factor for them
Yeah.
too. Like older people that grew up watching Carson and shit like that. So I mean, obviously we didn't. So I mean,
No.
when they make movies about the 90s, like I see the little nostalgia shit there that they put in because it's like, oh, this was the 90s. We have to have these things, and I was like, if you do it well, it kind of make you feel you're taken back to that era, your teens or whatever. But I didn't grow up in the 70s, and I get the look they were going for, and they definitely pulled off that look. But I don't know, like just overall story-wise, I'm like, it loses you at some point. And like I thought the movie, so it's like 6 or 7. It's not a bad movie to me. It has issues, but I definitely wouldn't go into this movie thinking it's the fucking second coming of Jesus in horror movie form.
To me, like I said earlier, I bought into the hype, and the hype just wasn't there.
And see, maybe I have, like you said, I'm not part of that. That era. Like I'm in this era now, so I expect a little bit more cleaner execution. If I know it's gonna be a terrible sci-fi movie and I'm going into it with those expectations, then fine. But like if I'm thinking that there's gonna be some sort of a story, then I want some sort of an execution, whether it's story or visual execution, and I don't feel like I got either of those things.
I get that completely, because again, to me it was all hype, and again the hype that just didn't live there. With like you, Angie, you expected more and didn't, and I think that's kind of how we all felt.
It didn't deliver.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried to go in open-minded, and like it loses you at some point. Because you're going through the film, and I'm like, okay, I can buy this, I can buy that. Like something's happening. It's like it's building to something.
Yeah,
but then what it builds to isn't the payoff. Like it's like, okay, I want more. Like you didn't. I don't know. Like so that's why I think like if people are like draw my own ending, like that's how they could enjoy it, I guess. But I don't know.
I'm curious to know is what people did like about it. So if you genuinely like this movie, please let us know, because we're trying to find reasons.
And if you grew up in the 70s,
yes.
as well.
Like Paul said, it's not a terrible movie, but we're trying to find reasons to justify this movie, and it's pretty hard to find. Like I don't think it was as bad as Mother, but again, to me, it just did not live up to the hype that I saw coming into this, and this is why I recommended that we watch this, because okay, here's a movie that's getting all this hype. Like Paul said, it's getting that indie cheaply made, so okay, now your expectations are like, okay, maybe we can finally see something that we haven't seen in forever, which is
I just want to be scared.
yeah.
I just want to be scared. Somebody please scare me.
But again, it's one of those things. It's one of those things, like you said. It's a lot of the stuff that was in this movie you've seen done better in other movies, like the found footage movies. To me, they're getting a little more. They're getting played out. It's like it's an easy cop out.
It's not fresh anymore.
Yeah, it's not the greatest idea anymore because we've seen too many of them now, and we know the good ones and we know the bad ones.
And this wasn't really even technically found footage because the whole play is that it was live and like it went out on air.
Well, it was live mixed with the never before seen behind the scenes footage.
But again, like none of that
but
stuff
who the
was
fuck is filming?
groundbreaking.
But who the fuck is filming this if they're talking about Christy being dead?
But
right?
again, like none of that was like that's not when the scary shit happened. You know what I mean? So it's not like any of it was that.
Yeah. So what did
revelation.
the extra footage really add to the whole
It
story?
was just their sides.
It was literally just getting from scene to scene.
Yes.
My guess,
so you could see.
My guess, the found footage is the in between scenes, like before.
Yeah, but it doesn't really add anything other than like making it a cohesive movie,
No.
and not like you're watching the commercials like you would in VHS or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Dr. June slaps the demon, she's like, "Why did you do that?" I'm like, "Don't fall for that. Don't. You're dumb. You deserve to get bit."
Yes.
And if that wasn't the first time, then she's been saving that to bite you on TV for specifically, because I'm sure the demon would have pulled that trick before. And if she has, or the demon has, then you're stupid, Dr. June. That's all I'm saying.
Even then, like after that, and she's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have pushed you. I'm sorry." That's when you leave, Doctor.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gone.
That's it. We're out of here.
Leave her
After
tied
the next segment.
Leave her tied to the chair. I'm going home.
Just take my check and get out of here. I love that the band, after the whole possession scene, right, when she levitates and then they come down and they're like, and Jack's like, "We'll be back and we're gonna go to some messages," and the band's like slowly like, they're like, "What?
Like, what do we do?
Do we play?
What do we do?"
Like, and they just kept,
that bitch
finally
just
like
floated.
It's almost like the music player was like, like they were like, "Okay, shit, I guess we gotta play it." So
the audience
I love
kept annoying me, all the gasps and everything. And I know like it's supposed to be like a live audience, but I was just like, stop
again.
it.
People in the 70s fainted watching Exorcism on a movie screen, knowing
See,
it wasn't.
I'm like, no, I'm at home. I don't even want to go to the movie theater anymore. I want to binge my shows from my couch so I don't have to hear any bitches gasping or fucking fainting.
I know. Is that the next thing that's going to happen? Like, you need like audience sounds in the background for
Like
your real home experience theater experience it all.
No thanks.
You have Nicole Kidman behind you. Oh, the movies. There's blah, blah, blah. Shut up! I'm trying to watch.
I have kids. If I need to hear the sound of somebody chomping popcorn and rustling a bunch of candy wrappers, I'll just have them come down.
You got the sound of some douche trying to record the movie behind you. Like,
Right.
It's like you're really there in the theater.
Setting up his tripod.
Dude, seriously.
Shut up, man.
Come on, so I make my money.
Put this up online so I can
We all
get
got side
downloads.
hustles.
Yeah.
This economy, for fuck sure.
Dude,
Don't look for feet pics of me online.
but look for salts.
No, you don't want to look at my feet.
What's your Only Souls name? Only Souls.
Only souls.
If that is a thing, Kim, look that up real quick.
What, my OnlyFans?
No, Only Souls,
Oh.
like feet pic place. Like
There probably is.
I
What
wouldn't
is
doubt
it?
it.
It's like Rule 44. If there is something on the internet
Um,
that's not, it will be.
Can I just be?
Somebody just made it now.
Can I
Yeah.
have an OnlyFans, or I'm just mean to people? Because like
can.
I feel like I could be really good at that job.
Yeah, are there people that need like mean motivation? And I could be like, shut the fuck up and just do it. You're right. Like that's what I need. Like, who needs that type of motivation?
Be a life coach
See,
that way.
I thought of an app to where it was
No,
like,
I mean like people that just need people to be mean to them. Like
Ooh.
if you want me to be mean to somebody in your life, you could.
oh,
pay
you mean
me.
like
There you go.
Like
Yeah.
no, I'm okay, but there's the dudes that are like the submissives or whatever. Like, you fucking suck. Like, they pay people for that to tell
Well,
them.
I mean, I'll
Yeah,
do virtual
like,
appointments
that's
only.
What I'm
but
saying. Like, we don't even get into the weird food shit. Is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No,
all
I
we're
think
saying is if you have a side hustle, we get it.
Yes.
get
It's
your
okay.
side-
It's
I'm
okay
not
to have
bagging
side
on
hustle.
anybody's side hustle. I mean, if you can get pictures of any part of you for doing nothing other than taking a picture of it, then more power to you. Because no one's going to pay me for any pictures of anything that I got. Trust me. Let's make a website where really gross people will be like, I will pay you to stop sending you pictures of myself. Like, pay me, and I'll stop sending the pictures.
Can
How
you
do I
get in
off
trouble
this list?
for obsessively sending pictures of yourself?
I
to
don't know.
somebody?
Like, how do we still
Is
have
that considered
spam
stalking?
nowadays?
Let's
Are
find out.
robocalls still a fucking thing?
Yes.
I get the
Because now they're
texts
AI. They're AI
I
in
get
the
the
robocalls.
texts, man. So
they,
many
They
texts.
have some where I heard like they pretend to be fucking like dead people. Be like, You need to donate to this. Why, Grandma? You're
Do
dead.
do they think people answer their phones? None of us answer our phones.
They
these
apparently
days.
think people take polls still. Because like the
No.
polling. So the majority of people that are voting now, we don't do polls.
No.
We don't answer surveys. We don't even fucking answer
We
the
were
phone.
raised by a whole generation of parents who didn't watch us in the afternoon, so we do not answer the phone.
So the
because
biggest
they
thing
were
was
told,
don't answer the door,
Don't
which I
answer the
never do.
door and don't
I don't
answer
care
the
who's
phone.
outside. Unless I know someone's coming over, I don't care who it is. I don't answer the door. I don't answer the phone either.
Us latchkey kids, we don't answer our phones. We're not
That was
taking
ingrained
your
to us.
survey.
Watch your sisters. Don't answer the door. Don't use the stove. That's why we eat out so much. I can't use the stove.
No,
I was told.
no, I'm fully convinced that we eat out so much because COVID. We were like, "Fuck that kitchen.
That
We're
didn't-
going
yeah.
back in that kitchen.
That didn't
Fuck
help.
you."
That's for sure. I'm not
'Cause
cooking for 3 years.
Being stuck in your house and having to live in the kitchen and just stare at the food that you don't want to eat because you haven't left your house.
Watching
forever.
reruns.
Yes.
This doesn't look delicious anymore, even though I just spent the last hour making it.
All right. I need to. And we were all like, helps the economy. Just order for your food.
Who bought this fucking food, dumbass?
Right.
Me.
We were all fucking panic buying shit at the store. Like, get the peanut butter.
Oh,
we
I
didn't
don't
buy
know.
anything.
Oh, this peanut butter and toilet paper. I'm so hungry.
I don't know. I'm gonna have fresh peanut butter anymore, so buy it all.
I buy it all.
Buy
I don't
6 of
wanna
those.
see peanut
Buy 6
butter
of those.
ever again in my fucking life.
I did see a really funny thing about the pandemic the other day, talking about how the preppers, like they were preppers before COVID, but most of the preppers didn't believe COVID was happening. So even though like they were fully prepped, they didn't believe it. And I'm like, those were the fuckers who were buying all our toilet paper. That's who it was. Those were the fuckheads.
This ain't real. What have you been preparing for?
Like, you already have toilet paper because you've been prepping, fuckface. Like,
Yes.
why?
But that's emergency toilet paper that you've got to wet a little bit for it to fully form the toilet paper.
Bunch of dicks. Bunch of dicks.
And that was the movie we just completely sidetracked off.
That
of.
was
Yeah, late
late
night
night,
with
yes.
the devil.
Late night with El Diablo.
Somehow got us to the pandemic. But
Yes.
anyway. We will be back next week.
With something better.
Yes.
Yes. Something
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. A palate cleanser.
Hopefully. We're not sure what we're doing yet. So hopefully.
Well, I'm hoping that there's more better than there are worse. 'Cause
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
think, unless we want to do Skinnamarink, man.
No,
Nah,
we're waiting. No,
we're gonna
no.
wait
no.
on
From what you
that
guys
one.
have told me, no. Not
I
yet.
almost want to just.
Not yet.
I almost want to just watch Saul watch the movie. I don't even want to watch the movie again.
With
We'll do
us
a
giving
podcast of
live commentary. because
That'll be the next podcast. We're just gonna sit here live with our microphones
like,
while Saul watches it in the
it's gonna
background.
happen.
Okay, we're 2 minutes in. Now he's here it
We'll
is.
do. We'll live commentary it.
And he's
I'm totally with it.
and confused look on his face. There we go.
What
That's
the hell's happening?
and the movie's over. There it is.
And there it is. All right. Yeah.
That's Skinnamarink, folks.
All right. We'll be back again soon, guys. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.